it comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else. But I did feel uncomfortable with the way you represent the idea of going to these projects.
I blame everybody that's in his circle. They're all millions and they want to be like him.
50 Cent. He's actually producing a docuseries about all the Diddy allegations.
Seriously?
Yeah, covering, the really heavy stuff, sexual assault, trafficking claims, even racketeering charges.
And is it going anywhere specific? Like a platform?
Get this, Netflix. Reports are saying Netflix picked it up, which is huge.
That is huge. Okay, so beyond the headline grab, what's the real mystery here, you think?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, what really happened behind the scenes with Diddy, with all these massive names in music?
And why 50 Cent? I mean, why is he being so vocal, pushing this so hard now?
Right. Because this isn't new, is it? Their feud, Diddy and 50, it's been going on for, 20 years?
Oh, easily. Public jabs, diss tracks, back and forth. It's a long, long history.
So this docuseries, it feels like the final chapter. Or maybe just the biggest blow yet in this whole thing.
It definitely adds another layer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Knowing that backstory, that personal animosity, you have to wonder how much that's fueling this.
Yeah, it changes the lens a bit. It's not just some detached observer reporting on it.
Exactly. It's personal history playing out very, very publicly.
Speaking of public, oh my God, did you see Will Smith on stage?
Wait, what did he do?
Out of nowhere, middle of a performance, he just starts saying he had nothing to do with Puffy.
No way.
Yes. And he specifically mentioned, not being jiggy with the freak-offs or baby oil.
Whoa. Okay, that's incredibly specific.
Yeah.
Referencing the items found in Diddy's home during the raids.
Right. It was so awkward. And just why say that specifically,
It kind of suggests those rumors, those specific details about the parties, were maybe more widely known in their circles than we realized, even before all the legal stuff blew up.
Totally. And 50's reaction, predictable.
Let me guess. He posted it.
Instantly reposted the clip, laughed at the memes, and then immediately pivoted to promoting his Roku channel.
Of course he did. He never misses a beat when it comes to trolling Diddy or marketing himself.
He's relentless. But it does show how he's keeping this whole story front and center.
Well, it's a strategy, right? Leverage this massive scandal to boost his own media empire. It's shrewd, you have to admit.
It is. But then, okay, it gets even wilder. 50's also making claims about Justin Bieber.
About Bieber, what kind of claims?
He's basically saying Diddy pimped him out when he was young, introduced him to powerful people for,
Seriously, pimped him out. That's a huge accusation.
Huge. And 50 is even hinting, or more than hinting, that he has video proof.
Video proof. Okay, that changes everything if it's true.
Wow, I know, and it makes you look back at Bieber's early days, right? Diddy was like his mentor.
Totally. The gifts, the appearances together. Diddy gave him that Lamborghini, remember? It seemed like this big industry mentorship.
But now, with these allegations, it just feels so dark. You have to wonder about those power dynamics.
Absolutely. And didn't Bieber have that breakdown a few years back where he talked about wanting to protect Billie Eilish?
Yeah, he said something about wanting to shield her from the industry pressures he faced.
That hits differently now, doesn't it? Knowing these claims are floating around.
It really does. And apparently Bieber's been distancing himself from Diddy since the arrest, focusing on family. It all just paints a really disturbing picture.
It suggests maybe a long-term impact, a reckoning with past experiences perhaps, especially now that this is all coming out.
And it is coming out. This isn't just gossip anymore. There are multiple civil lawsuits piling up against Diddy.
Right, and that settlement with Cassie was shocking. The details she alleged, rape, years of abuse, were horrific.
And then she settled so quickly, but now there's a full-blown criminal investigation happening. More charges are being added.
It's definitely escalating beyond just civil suits. This has become a major criminal matter. The feds are involved.
And I read that federal prosecutors expect at least 4 accusers to testify against him at the trial.
4? That's significant.
Yeah.
Testifying in court against someone like Diddy.
Yeah, the trial's set for May, I think. Having multiple people willing to go on record, that's powerful.
Yeah. It takes immense courage. Think about the power imbalance, the potential repercussions. Their willingness speaks volumes.
But you know what's also striking? The silence from so many other big names in the industry.
That is noticeable, isn't it?
And 50 Cent, again, he has a theory. He basically said people are quiet because Diddy might have incriminating footage from his parties, tapes of everyone.
Wow, that's quite the suggestion. If true, it points to a really toxic culture of protection, a code of silence.
Makes you wonder who knew what, right? And why they're staying quiet now.
Fear.
complicity.
He raises serious questions about accountability, definitely. What pressures are people under to just not talk?
And then you hear someone like Ray J, he was in that TMZ documentary, talking about rumors of artists paying off victims.
Paying them off to keep quiet?
Yeah, to keep the names out of things. And he specifically linked it to those freak-offs again. That term keeps popping up.
So the idea being that settlements and NDAs might have been used to bury stories like this for
It
years?
seems like it. Whole system, maybe.
That would have huge implications for how these things operate behind closed doors.
People say it was kind of an open secret, especially in Miami or just within the industry. The weird sexual going on, the extreme drug use at the parties.
So people knew something was off.
Apparently. But they were too scared of Diddy, scared of the consequences of speaking out. Which sounds like a really dangerous environment.
Absolutely. That kind of climate of fear makes it almost impossible for victims or even witnesses to come forward.
Which brings us back to Bieber. What did he know? Was he just young and naive, or did he see things?
And what about his handlers? People like Usher, Scooter Braun, even Will Smith, given his connection?
Yeah.
Were they aware? Did they look the other way?
Uncomfortable questions, but you have to ask them. What's the responsibility there?
It highlights this complex web, doesn't it? The ethical duties of mentors, managers, powerful figures around young artists.
Then there's this other curveball, Suge Knight.
Oh boy. What's Suge say now? From prison.
Yeah. He claimed that Clive Davis and Diddy were lovers back in the day.
Wait, what? Clive Davis and Diddy?
Yeah. Now, huge grain of salt here, it's Suge Knight, it's totally unconfirmed. But if
If there were any truth to that, wow, that would completely reframe the power dynamics of 90s hip-hop, wouldn't it?
totally, who was really pulling the strings? But again, it's just an allegation right now.
Crucially to remember, it's unverified. But yeah, if proven, it would definitely offer a new lens on that whole era.
It sort of feeds into this wider narrative, though, that you hear whispered sometimes about powerful people grooming others in the industry.
Like a cycle of abuse potentially being passed down or enabled.
Exactly, that pattern repeating itself. If these allegations hold up, it suggests something really systemic.
That concept, the cycle of abuse, is so important. It suggests these aren't isolated incidents, but potentially learned or perpetuated behaviors over time.
And it's not just historical stuff. The latest federal charges include an allegation that Diddy forced a woman into sex acts for money just last year.
As recently as last year.
Yeah.
Okay, that really underscores that this isn't just about the past. It alleges ongoing behavior.
It's chilling. And we've also heard from someone anonymously who apparently worked closely with Diddy, saw disturbing emails.
Emails suggesting what?
Suggesting the problems might be bigger than just Diddy himself, that others were involved or knew things.
Right, and wasn't there something about a songwriter being pressured?
Yeah. Asked to sign an NDA just to get their streaming royalties paid. An NDA stopping them from saying anything negative about Diddy or his companies.
Wow. Using royalties as leverage to enforce silence?
Yeah.
That tells you a lot about trying to control the narrative, doesn't it?
Totally. So, looking ahead, this trial in May, the stakes are incredibly high for Diddy.
Absolutely massive. And Cassie is expected to testify under her own name.
That's the report, which is huge, especially when you hear other alleged victims might testify anonymously because they fear for their safety.
Her testifying publicly after settling, that's a major development. It could be pivotal. But the fact others feel they need anonymity really highlights the fear factor still.
And then there's 50's documentary hanging over everything. Given his history with Diddy, the claims he's making, it feels like that could blow things wide open.
Yeah, the anticipation for that is going to be intense. People want answers, they want the full story, or at least 50's version of it.
It just leaves you thinking, though, can you ever listen to the music the same way? Watch the movies, knowing all these allegations?
That's the big question, isn't it? The whole art versus the artist debate. How do you separate the work you might have loved from these really disturbing claims?
Does it change how you see fame itself, the whole entertainment industry?
I think it has to, right? It forces you to question the power structures, the potential for abuse, the systems that might protect powerful people.
Yeah. What allows this kind of alleged behavior to go on for so long, apparently unchecked? It makes you really scrutinize the whole system.
It really compels you to think critically about who holds power and how accountability works or doesn't work in that world.
Well, for anyone wanting to follow this, keep a close eye on the news around Diddy's trial, and obviously watch out for that 50 Cent documentary.
Definitely. This story feels like it's really just beginning to unfold publicly. There's likely a lot more still to come out.
For sure. A lot more to unpack here.